Ready? Reset. It's fluidity. Hey yo guys, I'm back this week. Today I'm feeling really female. Actually, I am wearing a skirt today, though you can't see it because I couldn't get my camera in the right direction. Ignore that. And I want to talk about fluidity and the fluidity of gender fluidness. I think that a lot of people don't understand what the fluid in gender fluid means. Like, they get that your gender changes, but they don't understand that it does physically flow throughout the entire day, throughout the entire week, throughout your entire life. I think for most gender fluid people, I know at least for me, is that when you wake up and you're a gender, you tend to be that gender for the rest of the day. And I'm not saying that's for everyone, I'm just saying that from what I can gather from other gender fluid people is that's usually the norm, is you wake up and you're a gender and it lasts through the entire day. Your gender does flow. And so your gender can change in the middle of the day, in the middle of a meeting, in the middle of a school presentation, in the middle of a practice, in the middle of doing an art project. It changes whenever. And there's no set, oh, now I want to be this, or like, now I want to understand this, now I'm in this situation, so I want to be this gender. It's completely up to your body and however you're feeling. So I think a lot of people don't know that gender can flow like that. They just think when you wake up, oh, you woke up and you were a guy today, so that means you're still a guy at like 10 o'clock at night. And it's like, no, not necessarily. My gender could have changed throughout the entire day too. It could have changed once, it could have changed 5 times, it could have not changed at all. So I don't think a lot of people get that. Story for today is the first time my gender flowed with me actually having knowledge of it. So it was really early on in my knowing of my gender fluidity, and I actually got my binder a few days beforehand. I had worn it like once around my friends and everything, but this was the first day I wore it to my classes. So this was the first day I was actually physically being a guy and going out and acting like a guy in society, which was a big deal for me. So I put on my binder and I went to class, and I had 3 or 4 classes in that day. I forget if one was canceled, but I went through all my classes feeling really confident and I was a guy, and they kept using the wrong pronouns, but that's because they didn't quite know I was gender fluid. I was okay with that. I did correct them if it got too out of hand, but that felt really good for me to be able to go and be a guy in my classes in society for a time. And after class, I had to go lift. And it was one of those, I get out of class, I grab a snack, I go lift. Like, there's no time to do anything else in there. So I got out of class, grabbed my, I think it was a granola bar or croissant or something, and then I went to the gym to go lift with some of my volleyball friends. And I got there and I still had my binder on, and I brought a sports bra to change into because I heard that working out in a binder isn't the best thing. But I hadn't had it on for that long of the time, and I wasn't up for having to go and change because I was already running late. I'm not saying you should do this, but I did work out in my binder. You can yell at me in the comments if that was the worst thing in the world. I haven't done it since. So I wore my binder lifting, and then during the lift, it lasted about an hour, I just kept looking at myself in the mirror and going about these things, and I was just like, I'm not a guy anymore. And it wasn't anything like, bam, hit me in the face, I'm not a guy. It was kind of like this over time looking in the mirror, doing the activities, looking at myself, having them call me by male pronouns, and I was like, I'm not a guy anymore. But by the end of the lift, I was most definitely sure that I was not a guy. I'm pretty sure I was agender. I switched from guy to agender. The funny thing though is that from the lift, I had to go take a shower and then go back to, I think it was a ceremony or something, but I went back to all my volleyball friends and I dressed agender. And I went back and I looked pretty feminine actually when I went back the second time. And you could see in their faces, like, they didn't say anything because they could see the physical change, and they used my neutral name and pronouns, but you could see them thinking. And there was this moment where they just kind of froze when they saw me and went, wait. Oh, fluid, gender fluidity, it changed. There's definitely that moment. I think for a lot of people when they see a gender fluid person change in the middle of the day, be like, you, but now, and it, but you're, oh. I don't know, I think that a lot of people don't get that it flows throughout the entire day. So though you did wake up a certain gender, though you were a certain gender in this class, you may not be the same gender in another class. And that is strange for a gender fluid person, just because if you dress a guy in the morning, you're just a girl in the morning, and you end up not being that gender at the end of the day, you're kind of stuck in these clothes unless you bring an extra pair of clothes or something, which is just, for me, is way too much. For me, it doesn't happen often, and it doesn't happen in the middle of the day like that time. That was like a one-time thing for me. But it does happen, and it's just something that people have to be used to. I just wanted to let that know and just get that out there, that gender does flow, and it does change, especially for gender fluid people, and so it can change in the middle of the day, it can change in the middle of presentation, it can change whenever, and it's not like we decide it. It changes, it does, and it's dependent on the situation, it's dependent on who you're with, it's dependent on a lot of different things, and it's your body saying, oh hey, you're not that anymore, time to switch. Yeah, I don't know, that was kind of it. I will see you next week then. Bye, chicas!